A lot to cover in today's show for Lions news. Alim McNeill, what are the Lions going to do while he is not going to be on the field? And I presume until around the Thanksgiving Day time, we're going to talk about that. Pass rusher again being thrown around that the Lions should look to sign. Lions have 3 coaches in the top 25 worst in the history of the NFL. We'll get into those coaches. Sam LaPorta, he is a top 3 tight end per ESPN. We're going to talk about it. Aiden Hutchinson getting rave reviews and a massive sentence spoken by Jahmyr Gibbs that has ramifications no one's talking about, but I'm going to talk about it on here. You're going to want to hear about it. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. Let's kick it off with the Lions coming in at 3 coaches, the worst in the 25, worst in the history of the NFL. 10, Rod Marinelli, the man who did 0-16. He's coming in there as a boo-boo 1. Number 9, rocket scientist Matt Patricia, our coach that we absolutely disliked. In the 90s, Marty Morningwig. Now, I cannot wait to hear the debate on who is the worst coach in your opinion. But I got to take a quote from a scholar such as myself. And I said this, watching Matt Patricia coach really made me consider jumping into a wood shredder. His ability to decimate a franchise and make people hate him is uncanny, like I have never seen before. And what he did to a team that I thought was relatively good and destroy it as quickly as he did will be unmatched. And I consider him the worst coach in the history of the Detroit Lions. But that's my opinion. What about yourself? Who is the worst coach in the history of the Detroit Lions? Put M if you have Marty. Put P if you have Patricia. Let's continue on here with Lions news. And what are we going to do about Alim McNeill? He's not going to be starting quickly, till about Thanksgiving or halfway through the season. Article came out today. What should the Lions do? Well, I'm going to tell you what they are probably going to do. What I expect this team to do. And that is, folks, utilize a player who was drafted with Alim McNeill, a player who was drafted before Alim McNeill, and a player who they brought back on a $5 million deal. Mr. Fusion himself, Levi Onwuzurike. To me, he is going to be the guy that's going to really help out on this defensive line. He's talented. It's not the talent. It was always his progression from injury. Last year, he really gutted through it, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. Now, Tyleik Williams is going to have an impact for sure, most definitely, and he's going to be the guy that's going to be filling in. But he's not the veteran. And for a team that's trying to win now, it's good to have a guy like Levi Onwuzurike that can help out with the young talent, and he's still young. And then you have older veterans like DJ Reader, so you got a good mix, right? A good mix of talent pool, ages, and I think he's going to be a guy that's going to really help out. Now, Josh Edwards from CBS Sports talks about that the Lions need to get pass rush. That's what they need to get. Now, I agree with Edwards here and what he has to say. This is what he says, edge rusher was also given to a lot of thought. Detroit moved on from Za'Darius Smith after acquiring him midseason. Aiden Hutchinson is returning from a serious knee injury. The other pass rushers on the roster are Marcus Davenport and Josh Paschal. Davenport struggled to stay healthy throughout his career. Paschal has been more of a stable run defender than one capable of providing explosiveness off the edge while dealing with his own injuries. I do believe that this is probably, at least from a roster standpoint, or what the Lions could do in upgrading this roster, that's the biggest one, right? The biggest issue on the team is center right now. Tate Ratledge, Greg Glasgow, and the offensive line. But we have the talent here. It's more of we just got to wait. There's talent like Za'Darius Smith, who's still out in the free agent market that the Lions could acquire to help out that position. But look, if the Lions decide to stay with who they have and not go on, they're banking on injury. We know what Davenport can bring, but the question will be, can Davenport stay healthy? We've seen what happened last year. Defensive line decimated, Lions tank. You see the Philadelphia Eagles, great, masterful defensive line. waves of pass rusher. Patrick Mahomes going down, they got a ring. Concern is pass rusher. Now, we got players like Barnes and all that. But if they could get one more guy, I do think it would be extremely beneficial. But again, that's my opinion here. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell may disagree. There's been reports out that the Lions may look to sign him in the next couple of weeks. He wants to come here. It's well known. He was at the BET Awards. He spoke about it. Their agents in contact. We don't know what will happen. Tight-lipped in Allen Park. That's always right since we've had Brad Holmes. Always been this way. We'll see what goes forward, but it is what it is. Let's talk about ESPN. This is on Friday's ESPN list. Real that Sam LaPorta is top 10. He's number 3 on the list, behind just Brock Bowers and George Kittle. I got to say, Brock Bowers is a pretty kick-ass tight end. George Kittle. I would actually put him above George Kittle. But I understand this. I'm not going to be mad about the ranking because the Lions got so many weapons. It's hard to give everybody the football. He continues on and says, guy that I'm really excited for is Sam LaPorta. Amon-Ra St. Brown during OTA is not taking anything away from what he did last year, but he's a baller. I could tell you this year that he's making plays every day, and he's going to be a big player. Yeah, we know this. We know, and he is, to me, a top 3 tight end. But if you want to put him 2, you want to put him 3, it doesn't really matter in my opinion. The Lions got so many weapons, so he may not have the best stats in all of football because of that, but we know what he brings. We know how talented he is. He gets open all the time. He is definitely an individual that can deal with injury like no other. Sam LaPorta is him when it comes to the tight end position. He does it all. Where do you rank Sam LaPorta compared to the rest of the tight ends? 1 if you have the best, 32 if you think you're so delusional. Let's get into the next one here. Ryan Wilson really believes from CBS Sports that Aiden Hutchinson is going to take a significant step forward. He says, I think if you think my entire potential, there's still more to go. In 2022, the second overall pick, CBS Sports of Ryan Wilson in an interview this week, there's still things to learn. I always believe about that about myself. People like that put the mark on. Coming out of the draft and being a high floor, low ceiling prospect. But I think I proved that there's a lot more to come every single year. Very high on Mr. Aiden Hutchinson. Matter of fact, many general managers, many personnel in media, local and big alike, are giving the hype for Aiden Hutchinson. Now, you say it's just hype from them. Hear me out. How do you get awards, folks? Comeback Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. Is it simply for the work that you do on the field? Let's keep it a buck. No, it is not. We have seen many times where players will outdo these awards and someone else will get it. You got to have love from the media. You got to have love from the administrative part of all teams. You got to, as well as the players. This dude is getting the hype this offseason. So, this is what I expect. If Aiden Hutchinson stays healthy through 17 weeks, why wouldn't he? Hell, even 15 weeks. What if he missed a game or two for something that has nothing to do with a broken leg or anything? I expect him to 100% get Comeback Player of the Year and get probably Defensive Player of the Year. Even if he doesn't get the most sacks, say that Max Crosby gets 18.5 sacks and Hutch gets 17.5. I could see a situation where Hutchinson gets that award. He's getting that upswell of momentum that sometimes you see players get, and you feel that momentum from the whole world, and then it kind of comes together. And so that's what I'm seeing here. And I 100,000% believe Aiden Hutchinson is absolutely fully cleared. He has spoke about it, that he is clear. Does anybody think that he is lying to you? I don't think so. I just seen him ran, and he was explosive, the fastest that he has been. It is there. Aiden Hutchinson is going to do the job, and from not just a biased fan perspective, but also from an NFL perspective, someone that looks at talent, Aiden Hutchinson is him. He just is that guy. He is that guy. So in the comments right now, show some love to Mr. Aiden Hutchinson by placing a 97 in the comments. Let's get into the biggest news no one is talking about. We're going to talk about it right now because Jahmyr Gibbs spoke to the media. And this is what did the news for me. Like, that's not Mike, man. It's like a sentence right there. A very important sentence. I have to learn the formations from being split out, Gibbs said via Detroit News. I'm getting split out a lot more than I was last 2 years. That's a big deal. Why is that a big deal? Because now Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be used to his full potential. And this is our 5 things that we now get to see different this year. If this is true, that could make a big impact. Another option for Jared Goff, more not just in the run, but in the passing game. And he's got a boatload of options, but if he's going to be split wide more, you know that if the rush is getting there, he's going to dump it off. Guess what we never get to see? Both Sonic and Knuckles on the field at the exact same time. If he's split out wide, David Montgomery could be in the backfield. I can't wait to see it, or they both could be in the backfield. His receptions are going to go up. That's going to affect your fantasy. Receptions, yards, and touchdowns. You may not be big into fantasy football, but it's hard when you have a player that does multiple. But with this situation, he is going to be more valuable in those fantasy assets because he's going to get receptions. He's going to get those yards. We already know he's going to get those touchdowns. Now he's going to be utilized more on this offense, and a lot of us want to see him on the field a lot more, and we're getting that in 2025. And that is nothing but phenomenal news for this offense. It's something we all begged for, and it's something that it looks like we are going to get. And that is something that I consider massive news for this Friday. So give me your thoughts in the comments. With that said, folks, adios.